Good afternoon, good evening. Hope all is well with you guys. Today, got another great episode of the Manny Hall Show. I'm going to be interviewing one of my close friends from back in the day. Does real estate, doing some amazing things in the real estate market. We're going to get this discussion going. All right, he is here, so I'm going to go ahead and put him in. Go, 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 go. What's going on, El?
What's happening?
How you feeling, bro?
Doing good. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I'm sitting here trying to get this stand together because it not working properly. So, all right. So, tell the people who you are and what you do. For those that don't know.
All right. My name is Christopher Hardy. I'm a mortgage loan officer for Union Home Mortgage.
That's what's up. But really, what got you started, Chris? Right from the beginning.
Take it from the top. So I've been in the game for let's say about 8 years now. I started off, I was working for a company, and we used to do foreclosed homes. This was right around the time when the market had crashed and it was starting to rebound back. I used to work for a company that just used to do, they call it property preservation. So
Okay.
they
Okay.
grass cuts, board
Yep.
up, just things of that nature. So I started out doing that. And then the economy started to rebound. And so it was starting to get slow, and the inventory foreclosures, they were starting to sell homes, and the economy was getting back a little bit. And so that was the time I decided to say, hey, how about I work this thing from the front end instead of looking at it from the back.
Mm.
So that's when I found a little mortgage shop, and that's how I started out doing
All right.
mortgages.
So, what year was that when you decided to start getting into real estate?
So that was 2014, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, yep,
Wow. Okay.
2014. So yeah, 8 years. Yep.
Okay.
Um, it'll be like come about June, July. It'll be yep. It'll be 8 years.
Well, congrats on all the success, bro.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
All right, so let's dig into it. For those that are trying to get into real estate, like, can you just give them the real, Chris? Like, because I think that a lot of people have this in their mind that I'm about to jump in and be a loan officer, I'm about to jump in and be an agent, I'm about to jump in and be an investor, and everything will go great because they've heard of all the other people's success. But like, talk to them on that real, like for that beginning stages of your own journey. Like, what was some of the difficulties?
Um, Understand that anything that you do, requires work, especially when you're talking about something where when you start out as a first of all, I started out as a processor. So I've been a loan officer for about 5 to 6 years. And what happened was when I first started out, I was in a call center, right? So I used to work for this place, and they used to tell me like, hey, don't worry about going out and generating your own business. Just work these phones. And I
Mm-hmm.
always knew that just working those phones would mean that I would be a slave to the phone, right? As long
Mm-hmm.
as they would have to feed me, right? So if they
Mm-hmm.
gave me the bread, then I would eat. But what happens if one day they pull those leads from me? What happens is that phone don't ring? Then what? So I saw the other guys that did it, and the champions in my industry went out and got their own business, generate their own business. And so I decided to take that track, 100% commission, no
Mm-hmm.
hourly pay at all, only get paid on what I sell. So with that being said, just wanted to kind of kick it. Um, Same thing with real estate agents. You can there's different tracks. There's tracks where you can get these leads, and they can pay you less than what you can earn. You know what I'm saying? They can pay you less than what you're worth, but they give you the comfort of at least making the phone ring for you. Or you could
Mm-hmm.
decide to take that step and that leap of faith and say, hey, I'm gonna go out here, I'm gonna talk to people, I'm gonna shake hands, and I'm gonna go ahead and generate my own business. Now, like you said, Manny, people see it. They see the photos, and they understand that 90% of millionaires do some type of real estate. They get all that. They see the glamorous. They see the TV shows, and but they don't understand that it takes work. Here's the thing about it. They say 10% of the realtors do 90% of the business.
Wow.
You understand?
Wow.
So is this one of those things that
Wow. That's crazy. 10% of the agents.
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
do
Okay.
like 90, 80% of the business. So is this
Wow.
one of those things that you there's so many people that have their license. And it goes and they think that, hey, I'm just gonna get my license, I'm gonna take a few pictures, I'm gonna post a few home, and everything is gonna go right. And that's just not the case. And
Yeah.
then also you got to deal with the ups and downs, because sometimes you have good months and sometimes you don't. And it's the diligence
Yeah.
of continue to work your business and to continue to work, because that wave is going to come. Just like you said, in business, there's going, no matter if you're doing good, there's going to be months or
Mm-hmm.
times when things just go down. And you got to be able to weather that and continue to just kind of continue to keep the grind to a point where hopefully you become stable and you become successful, and it starts to multiply. The
Yeah.
business starts to multiply.
Yeah. No, what has kept you focused all this time when those instances came where you might wanted to give up, when you're looking around and not getting all the success that you felt like you deserved at this moment? Like, what do you do to not give up?
Well, understand that there was times when I had to add a second job. There
Mm-hmm.
was times when I had to add two jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but there was times when I had to put it down to babysit during the daytime because I had a newborn.
Yeah.
So there's times in this thing where it wasn't always good, but the belief
Mm-hmm.
that it was going to turn, the belief that I knew what I was doing. Um, those are the times when it got real hard. I still always believed in myself, and I always knew that it was going to turn at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I mean, you hear it all the time, but I mean, if you don't believe in yourself, you will fall. You will
Yeah.
fall.
All day. Because I feel like, Chris, is one of them things that you can't get away from. Like, you can try all day long to keep saying, I'm good, I can do this, but we always kind of go back to the person that you really believe that you are. And I think that once you make a decision, especially in this industry of doing real estate, because I mean, there is like no middle for the most part. You got people winning or people losing. Like it's like the people that's doing a little good and they climbing up the ladder. Those are people that decide that they ain't giving up. But I think that it comes a time where you just make a decision and say, man, I got to do this. Like, I know that the reason that I'm doing it is much bigger. I know that the reason that I'm doing is going to pay off eventually. And I refuse to give up no matter how hard it gets. And I don't think that that's very easy for a lot of people to do.
Absolutely. But again, it's the hardest thing, because I mean, you got to get to the point where you feel like you want to quit. I mean, come on, let's be
Mm-hmm.
honest with ourselves. There's times when you say, "Hey, is this working? Is this for me?"
Mm-hmm.
And you question every part of it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got outside influences that that wonder. I mean, come on, you got a household, you still
Mm-hmm.
got to pay bills.
Mm-hmm.
You got to answer more, not just to yourself but to your
Yep.
family. And
Facts.
so sometimes you question and you pray and you ask God and you wonder and you say, well, maybe there should be something else, but something inside of you continues to keep moving forward, and ultimately that's the determining between the winners and the losers. Is that right there?
That makes sense. Now, let me ask you this from your personal opinion. Who I'm trying not to make this sound mean, Chris, but the people that's in real estate that's trying to be an agent, being an officer, being an inspector, who is the people that just need to stop doing it? Like they trying, it's not working. Like who would you speak to and say, hey man, you probably need to stop doing it? Kind of characterize that person.
I mean, it's going to be the ones that don't want to put the work in.
Okay.
That
Okay.
there's been people that have their own restrictions, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like I'm not going to work around this time. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Or I'm not going to knock on those doors, or I'm not going to do those home buying seminars, or or they just want to post or something, but they don't want to go to networking events. Those are the people that's just not going to make it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because once you get past, and here's the thing, most people go jump in the game, because they have a spirit, right? They call it a spirit. And so that's the people that you know just in your inner ring, right? So people like, I got my friend over here, I got my mom, I got my cousin, I got my auntie. All these people talking about they want a house. So bam, I got at least 10 people that want houses. It's gonna be gravy.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens when you get past those people? Or
Mm-hmm.
really, or when those people decide to say, oh, I forgot you were a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot you were a
Mm-hmm.
loan officer. You
Gotcha.
understand? And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh, dang, I was counting on that business,
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning.
Yep.
And so people think that, hey, they're going to be successful because they got a hot 10 or 15 people that might be interested. But that's not it, man. That's not going to work. If you got to get beyond those people and you got to go out there to that second and third ring, and you really got to put yourself out there. And if you're not willing to do that, it's not for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the main person. Is just like, if you think you could just go ahead and flash and post 2-3 times for a week, and everything is going to be nice and gravy, this is not for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No, okay. So those are individuals that probably need to get out if they're not willing to do the work, not willing to do the research behind the scenes. And like, where do you think like personal development comes in at?
I mean, here's the thing about it, and it's the key. Coaching is necessary because the thing about it is that our industry, there's no one really over your back. There's no one that's checking on you and asking you, hey, are you working your hours?
Mm-hmm.
You either produce or you don't. And you might have someone that comes around, especially on the loan officer side. You might have someone that comes, you might have a branch manager to say, hey, how is everything going? Is there anything that you need from me? Um, he might throw you a couple suggestions, or he's on your automatic email and he has a few things that he just
Mm-hmm.
wants to remind you. And agents get the same thing. But really, there's no one that's going to hold your hand in this industry. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to happen. So either you start to learn that you have to personally develop yourself. You have to kind of get your mindset and train your mindset. And that's why sometimes you need coaching, because sometimes you have to think about yourself outside of yourself, because you get stuck on certain things and you like, well,
Mm-hmm.
dang, why is this not working? What is going on? And you need someone sometimes to be like, well, have you thought about this? Are you
Yeah.
doing that? And that comes from the outside source that
Yeah.
you're not thinking, because like I said, you get pictured on what you know, what you're thinking of. And sometimes that's when you need someone else to be like, well, are you doing these? Are you
Yeah.
doing this? Have you thought about doing this?
Yeah.
Maybe you're weak in these areas. And so
Mm-hmm.
you that comes along with the coaching, because there's no management. You
Correct.
understand? When
Absolutely.
you work your traditional jobs, you don't necessarily coach, but you got a manager. So he's doing that. But you don't have that. But you still need that outside presence to at least enlighten you and open up ideas for other stuff.
No, absolutely. That totally makes sense. So, you're somebody, for instance, that stays in shape. You're eating somewhat right. Like, do you think that those things have actually helped your success to prosper a little bit quicker than maybe some other ones?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, there's an attitude with eating right, right? And it's scientifically proven. Uh, Mental health wise, exercise gets those endorphins and stuff going. You know what I'm saying? So there's scientific health in actually exercising. But as you mentioned, it was a call that you did a live a few not too long ago. You talked about, hey, if you look good, people draw to that. People, I mean, and let's be honest. I mean, it might sound a little superficial, but people draw to a person that keeps up with themselves. It just helps back up what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as I started to feel better and get more confident, that stuff brings the confidence out, and it brings out in what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
When you shake hands with people, all that stuff matters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When I first started, I was overweight. I really was. And you're posting yourself, right? And you seeing yourself all the time. You like, man,
Mm-hmm.
man, or anything like that. I got to lose a few. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying?
And I think that Chris, like it, for me, the reason why it was most important for me to start losing weight, trying to work on my mind, is because, like you said, I'm looking at myself, and if I don't like that person I'm looking at, then I know ain't nobody else gonna like them, because
Absolutely.
I'm naturally gonna show up certain ways. Like when you not in shape, like you hunched over, and
Mm,
people like, I don't know if I want to work with you, and it's not because you got a big belly or you out of shape. It's simply because you don't look very confident. And if you're not confident, I don't believe that you're gonna help me to get to the next level, because it's like you just act like you just don't care. Like you and I both growing up have worked for managers in call centers where it's a big old dude. He just real heavy set. He eating the most trashiest food all the time. Always got something smart to say. You and I both know that that person would never go in higher than that supervisor position,
mhm,
because they didn't even want him at staff meetings looking crazy.
mhm, mhm. No doubt. And the thing about it is that the confidence, you can know what you're talking about, and it doesn't, you being overweight or skinny, it doesn't change your
Yeah.
knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the
Mm-hmm.
knowledge is there,
Yeah.
but somebody has to believe, and then they're looking at you, and like you said, your posture, that's another one. Your posture, you look lazy. So you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people coordinate weight and stuff with laziness, which is
Yeah.
not always true. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
But
For sure.
but mentally, they coordinate that stuff. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And
Yeah.
so when you have when you feel good, when you bring your posture up and your back is up, people listen a little bit more. Let's
Yeah.
just be honest.
Yeah.
They're a little bit more attentive to what you got to say. Doesn't change what you say, because you could be saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I've noticed that I've gravitated towards that, and I started to put diet and workout into what I'm doing. And of course, you got to work on your speech and
Mm-hmm.
practice in the mirror.
Yeah.
And make
Yeah.
sure that you can
Yeah.
project that
Mm-hmm.
confidence.
Yeah. And then I'm telling you, this is like that real talk that if people got it, Chris, they brands, their business will go to the next level just like that. Like I'm telling you, like I used to think that it was gaining enough knowledge. Well, there was times when I had enough knowledge, but I still wasn't sure. And I'm like, what the heck is missing? You know what it was, bro? I just didn't like the person that I was seeing.
Mm,
So it's like naturally, as I'm trying to show up, I'm like, y'all probably don't like this either. They didn't say that, but that's what I thought, because this is what I was thinking about myself. But as
mm,
I started to enhance and improve, bro, like things start picking up, things start going to the next level. And then I started to really understand when they say who you are is who you attract. Because I started to attracting people that was on a similar path of improving their own health, getting better. And they like, yeah, I can trust you over here because I know you handling your business over there.
mhm, mhm. And that's an important thing that you said, because in your head. And so when I first started doing loans, sometimes people would leave me, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "What the heck? What did I do?"
Mm-hmm.
And I started to kind of think about it, like, okay, number one, it's a numbers game,
Right.
right? You're not going to catch everybody,
Right.
and you got to understand that from a business, for whatever it is, you could
Absolutely.
be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon is phenomenal. There's still bad reviews on somebody. Okay.
Facts.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. And so once you do got to understand that you're not going to get everybody. Don't take that to heart.
Yeah.
But when you start to understand what could I have done, what little stuff could I have done to convert more? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I
Mm-hmm.
started to know that. I said, you know what, my confidence was down. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that sometimes with the rates, you get a little bit in that, and the rates go up. Well,
Yeah.
you got to understand, rates go up for everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to change anything. Don't get so down. It is what it is. Be confident in what you say. So I started to watch my tone, and then I started saying, wait a minute, make sure you do your research, and get
Mm-hmm.
back to people. You
Yeah.
know, so my return time,
Yeah.
I started following up with people faster.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they started trusting what I'm saying, because I felt confident.
Yep.
I started saying, hey,
Yep.
no, I know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
start projecting that, and I think people start to see that. And then, of course, you get out here and you start shaking hands and say, "Hey, I'm out here. Um, um, you see me now." At first it was just phone calls, but people want to see you. You
Yep.
know, People
Yeah.
want to say, okay, who is this guy? And
Mhm.
you got to dress the part. You know,
Yeah.
I started putting them suits and stuff on. Now, of course, we don't have to do it as much, but I still come clean when I need to.
That's what I'm saying. You still got one if
Yeah,
you need to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you need to pull that boy out. Don't be rushing trying to go find one.
yeah. No. You got to be ready. You know, and with the weight loss, I got to make sure it fits because I don't want no big suits on. You know, I can't have that. You know. Um,
But like I wanted to talk about like to the point where you were saying about like knowing your stuff. One of the things that as we was growing up, I was like, man, L gonna shoot that jumper though. That's what he gonna do. Like I know he gonna shoot. Like he might not go to the hole, but he gonna shoot the jumper. And this is something that you have perfected. So even in the midst of like you trying some other things, you was like, I know I can go back to this. So if the conversation is getting deep, I know I can depend on the jumper because it got me. Same thing with me. Like I know that I was left-handed, so it wasn't gonna be too many people that was gonna be able to block my shot. I
no doubt.
use these things to my advantage. So this is the same thing with y'all. Like understand that whether you're in real estate or any type of business, you have to perfect your craft and you figure out what the heck you're good at and talk about those things all the time because you're
Mhm.
gonna seem like expert because you're just spitting out of your mouth so easily because this is what you do. The problem is, Chris, I think a lot of people start to kind of go into areas and like, man, well, I'm gonna talk about this because I just learned a little bit about refinancing, but bro, you don't know refinancing yet. Like you ain't really got it, you ain't mastered that boy yet. So pull back a little bit, talk about stuff that you really know, and then intelligently, once you talk about that stuff, if you know it, then it's gonna sound a whole lot better. And back to your point, Chris, you're gonna sound a lot better talking about it.
No doubt, no doubt. And it's okay to stay within your lane
Yep.
until you grow your lane. You know, but I tell my son that all the time. I say, look, because he plays basketball, and I say, look, your confidence in your game comes from the work that you put in, and that will never
Mm,
change.
mm,
Whatever you do, your
mm,
craft, the
mm.
confidence that you have in what you do comes from the work. And so
Right.
when you skip on the work, the confidence ain't there. You
Mm,
know, you know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
kind of, oh, I believe I know. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
no, when you like, no, wait a minute. I was just in my book. I was
Mm-hmm.
just looking at that.
Yep.
I know.
Yep.
No, this is correct.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So the
Right.
confidence comes from the work. So that's why I'm not now. I stay in the gym as far as my work. I look at my guidelines. I'm reading. You just I got to hear it. I got news that comes around just
Mm,
strictly for mortgages, so I can get today's news on the
mm.
market. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Because the confidence comes from that work that's put in continuously. You know.
Hey, bro, I gotta take that, and I'm gonna take it, and then I might give you credit for it. But if you don't hear me, I just forgot about it, Chris. I wasn't trying to like not plug you, bro, but that's a good one to just keep because it's so real. Your confidence comes from the work that you're putting in because you know you're putting in so much work. You naturally know this stuff. Like, let somebody ask you about being black if you black. You like, man, okay, let's talk. How long you got? I'm experiencing being that. Once you get that type of training and understanding about the industry that you're a part of, then nobody will second guess you. You'll talk much more confidently. You'll be on like a client call trying to convert somebody. You get that boy every single time because they like, oh yeah, they know what they're talking about. If anything, it's like I don't have the money to pay for it, but I definitely want to hire this person. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely want this person to be my agent because they appear to be so knowledgeable and they just say it with so much finesse. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, Chris, remember David Robinson, man, when he played for the Spurs? They used to always say the boy had finesse. Way before Drake was talking about finesse, David Robinson had some finesse, bro. Like, he was just smooth with it.
The Admiral. I
Yeah.
remember the Admiral. Game was smooth, but that's what it comes down to. It comes down, and if you notice, you start using different words, right?
Mhm.
So I could say, well, I believe
Mhm.
this is this.
Mhm.
They can ask me a question. Well, can we do this on FHA? I believe you can,
Mhm.
or I say, you can do this.
Mhm.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? The
Yeah.
work starts to change
Yeah.
what you say, and it's a subtle thing, but it was like, well, I think you can,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, no, you can do this,
Yeah.
you can do this, you can't do that,
Mm.
you go straight to it because the recall from the work, the recall is like it's right there. And so
Yeah.
you don't say I think so. I'm pretty
Mm.
sure. You know,
Mm.
you use those
Mm.
words, and
Yeah.
it's okay because there might be every now and then it might be like something like, man, I haven't heard that in a while. That's a
Right.
good one.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
then you say, so I'm pretty sure, but I'm gonna check on it for you.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna tell them I'm gonna get back to you, but that can't be for everything. Somebody asked me was the FHA down payment, and I'm like, I think it's 3.5%. Or no, 3.5%. Come with it.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Mm-hmm.
multi-unit, 25% down if it's a multi-unit conventional. You know, but at one point it was, I think it's 20. It's either 20 or 25. See, that's because the work wasn't always there. So that thing, although I was close, but now when you in your craft, when you in your game, you shooting straight answers.
Mm. And that goes back to what you keep telling your son about. You do the work, your confidence gonna grow.
It grows. Just like you over there, man, Mr. Business Development. Like I said, I want to give you your flowers too. I
I
listen to your
appreciate it,
stuff,
bro.
and like I said, we know each other's beginnings, and so it was another thing that you said while we was talking about it is sometimes you have to separate from people to get where you need to go,
Yeah.
you know, and so there's no love lost in whatever, but it's like, hey, this is what I'm doing, this is
Mm-hmm.
what I'm on. Um, and then right now, you're not the person that's on what I'm on, you know, and whatever that is. And so, but people get it, and they will get it if they're sincere and they're on their own path.
Yeah.
One day you come
Right.
back around and you say, "Oh, I get it. Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
see you was working on this,
Mm-hmm.
and I see you've been working hard on it, you know."
Yeah.
And then you got some guys, and we got friends that's like, you know, it is what it is, you
Mm-hmm.
know. We catch them, no love
Yeah.
lost,
No
still love.
love lost.
No love lost, but you got to go to that place. Your path is your path, and like I said, your flowers is. When I first came to Akron, you know, me and you was down in Akron for at that time, you know, and we hung, and you got me kind of broke me into the city, and then you was gone
Mm-hmm.
back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but you were talking about that stuff then, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and back then it was just the thoughts. Back then it was just, hey, I'm working on this. Back then it was like I'm almost done with my doctorates. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But the
Mm-hmm.
vision was there, and see now it's the mature. You
Yeah.
know, I remember when it was like, all right, I'm almost there. I'm still working this job. You know, and then it gets
Mm-hmm.
to a point where you look at it like, well, man, he done took off.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
appreciate it, bro. You
Huh?
always know you the homie for life, bro, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, but let's try to do this again, man, because I think that there's even more in-depth talk that you can really be helping these individuals in your industry. So let's definitely tap in. But I'm gonna post this to my page. I'm gonna tag you so it can be on yours as well. And then let's just continue to help these people. If y'all have any questions about real estate, you're here in the Cleveland market, even if you just got some questions, I think he'll still try to help you if you live somewhere else too.
Yeah.
Just give me your info real quick, Chris.
I'm licensed in Florida, Georgia, Maryland, Virginia. Like I said, I've been in the game for a long time. It's been 8 years. So yeah, if you guys got any questions, I own multiple properties, and I'm rocking with my sister. We're gonna try to get some going in Florida as well. So just hit it. I mean, I'm hitting from all aspects. I can help you. Self-employed people, I love to talk to you guys because it's harder for you guys to get along. So definitely let's talk about that. Let's talk about the tax returns. Let's talk about what you need to do to put yourself in position. But yeah, Manny, you know, like I said, let's rock anytime. Anytime you need me, I am there for you, my brother.
Okay, I appreciate it. All right, peace and blessings, y'all.
Yep.